The Haojin Warrior, a bike of mysteries for those looking for good reviews on the internet. Popular in Mombasa, but almost nowhere else. You will cross all peaks and valleys of the internet forum and find almost no information on it. The closest you'll get is its relatives, such as the Haojin Hawk and the Jincheng 200cc's. Why the hell is it so hard to get a review of the bike? Is it such a terrible bike? Well, let's find out. At 147,000 Kenya shillings by the time I'm uploading this video, you get an air-cooled 4-stroke cylinder 200cc bike, approximately 132 kg dry. The fuel tank holds up to 7.5 liters and is rumored to consume about 50 kilometers per liter, which is a big stretch because it consumes way more per 50 kilometers, probably like 2.5 times more. One thing is for sure, it's not appropriate for shorter uses. Well, unless you're used to climbing horses, with wheels sitting at 21 inches for the front tires and 18 for the rear tires, appropriate enough to push about 10 horsepower at around 7,500 RPM. It has regular front shocks and a monoshock at the back, which is kind of smoother than the regular shocks, but in more aggressive roads you will probably still feel it. With a drum brake for the rear and disc brake for the front, with no ABS to make sure that you go Superman during emergency braking. So I would advise you use both brakes, not just the front brakes, unless you want to do somersault and acrobatic tricks in an emergency. Thankfully, it has an electric starter, also a kickstarter for emergencies or in case you feel like going old school. So let's talk about actual riding experience. Yep. The bike performs rather well on the road. You don't get overwhelmed by traffic as it can easily achieve speeds of up to 110 kilometers per hour. And on a good day it will give you 120 kilometers per hour. You do feel the power even in higher gear like 5 and especially 4. It doesn't like to cruise at gear 5. If you do around 60 kilometers per hour and below for a long time, it starts to demand for you to shift down to a higher gear. Once you achieve 90 to 100 kilometers per hour, the bike feels very light and feels like the wind will knock you off the road, but you get used to it with time. It was a big problem for me for the first few 100 kilometers, but I got used to it. And once you get used to this, it's magnificently fast, with enough torque to help you overtake at least to keep up with traffic. Although, if not careful, it can be misleading, especially in corners. I've driven off roads in the roundabouts about twice, so I learned to slow down until I got the handle of the maneuvers. It's pretty okay with corners, but only if you're used to it, because you have to push it a little bit harder for it to lie down. It doesn't just want to take the corners. The only thing I don't like about this bike, the ergonomics of the seat. It sucks. It keeps pushing you forward and the angle puts a bit of strain on your back. So if you're going to go for long journeys, you better be prepared for that. The second thing I don't like about the bike is the painting job they did. They really chipped out on it. Within a few months, the paint starts wearing off, and if you fall down like I did, absolutely, you chip it off. Comes off as if it's never supposed to have been there in the first place. Otherwise, it's a fantastic bike. I like the speed and the power. probably because I'm a new beginner and this is my first bike ever, but I can guarantee you it's amazing. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Signing out. Just be bloody careful, okay, break.